welcome back to the channel for a brand new series. Now, this series I've been kicking around for a little bit, and I'm going to theme it as boss fight breakdowns. And basically what this is we're going to, a couple of times a week, take a look at 2 or 3 bosses per video and break down how they work and strategies that are well implemented in taking them down, especially because I tend to see on Facebook and some of the other forums that there are quite a few people that tend to struggle with these, and this will just kind of be able to walk you through it. A couple of caveats right off the bat: these will all be done on the superior difficulty, so the hardest difficulty that you can get to do these boss fights on is how we're going to be taking that on. And we will be breaking down a couple of the strategies that I've found to help along with those fights if they're ones that you are struggling with. So if you are enjoying this type of content, please feel free to subscribe to the channel. The subscription's free and easy, and we just hit 100 subscribers, which is absolutely amazing. Anyway, feel free to leave a like on the video, comment as to what bosses you're excited to see in this series, and without further ado, let's jump into the boss fights, shall we? So the first boss that shows up in the entire story quest of the game is Nebula. And Nebula is very much a starter boss, and her fight is very much themed around the Kree soldiers that she comes in to the fight with. So the best strategy that I've found here is you just want to ignore Nebula for the most part until you've taken down all of the Kree soldiers that are in the surrounding area. Mainly because they don't respawn. You're not going to get more of them that come in. As soon as you take out these guys, you're done, and you can focus solely on Nebula. Now, the majority of the characters that are in this fight are small little grunts, but there are a couple of the large mighty enemies that are a little bit of a nuisance. Particularly, I really like using Miles Morales for these types of fights, mainly because he lays down a very wide area of effect and constant damage output with his electroweb attacks, and that combos very nicely in with his Venom Strike as he leaps up into the air and then slams down on the opponents in the neighboring area. And as you can see here, we've got all of our characters with their extreme attacks online, even before we really focus too much on Nebula. Now, Nebula's taken some damage over the course of this fight, mainly because she just runs around, and odds are you're going to get a couple of your synergies to land on her while you are seeking out the remainder of the grunts here. But honestly, it's pretty straightforward in terms of the fight that she has. Her first phase mainly focuses on a bunch of melee-style attacks, but when she gets into her second phase, she starts transitioning into some area of effect type attacks as well as a couple of projectiles. Right off the bat, she has her area of effect, and then in this circumstance, she started going into some laser blasts. Now, one of the biggest things that you're going to find that really helps with these boss fights, in any sense of the word, as long as you're playing through the story quest, is consolidating your extreme attacks to when you have them in their last phase and when you deplete their stagger bar. So in this particular iteration, we are looking to burn Nebula down as quickly and efficiently as possible. And I've switched over to Dr. Doom as he's a little bit newer, and I really like the mechanics that he has that helps along here. And summoning the Doom bot and then using his laser attack really helps burn down the remainder of that fight. The second boss and last boss we'll be covering in today's video is the last boss from the opening sequence, which is Ronan. And Ronan has very strong standard attacks with his hammer, as well as a couple of projectile-themed attacks that can be particularly troublesome. But his fight is broken down into 2 main phases, similar to how Nebula's fight was broken down. And whenever you see that green circle around him, you want to either get away or have your combat dodge at the ready, as you can roll away from it and negate any of the incoming damage that you would take from him as he collects his resources. Now, we're just about through the first phase of Ronan's fight. We've got another one of these area of effect attacks that he's got going on. And with a couple of standard attacks, we'll have his stagger bar depleted, which will allow us to lay in with a few synergy attacks and get him into the second phase. After which, your whole screen's going to rock due to the ship being unstable, which prompts Ronan to soup up his attacks even further, which prompts a whole new realm of attacks. Now, previously, he had a couple of proximity attacks, and though this one starts off with some proximity, it calls in some lightning strikes around the battle arena as you continue through it. Now, Dr. Doom unfortunately went down there, but I'm not too concerned. One of my teammates is going to rush over and revive him before too long. And honestly, it's kind of to be expected, as Dr. Doom is a full 20 levels behind the next closest member of my team. But as you use him, he'll continue to level up, and that will just further augment his usefulness as a part of the team. Now, Ronan's little area of effect attack that he does there gets really souped up in this second stage and gets a lot bigger in terms of what it does and where it affects. But we are just about through this second phase with Ronan, and we resort back over to Dr. Doom and his laser attacks with the accompanying Doombot, which almost gets us through, but he's just about finished, so we summon in one more Doombot and then switch over to a different attack style to get a little bit more of an area of effect spread and a more efficient burn down of the fight. So if you're enjoying this series, please feel free to leave a like, and feedback's always welcome here. So if you have bosses that you're particularly struggling with, let me know about them. I want to be able to highlight those fights and allow you to get through them a little bit easier. That's the whole reason that I've got this series put together in the first place. Well, thanks again for watching, and we will see you with another installment of Boss Fight Breakdowns on Friday. You have a great rest of your day.